The drones, an inauguration debacle, and advancements in cybersecurity. Let's look into that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. So, while I was meditating and working on 2025 predictions, a few things happened. So, I had this very bizarre scrying image. So, I was sitting in my meditation spot and gazing into a quartz crystal ball that's it's about like the size of a bowling ball or so. And I got this image of two people in an office, and there was a lot of chatter back and forth. And I could see that there was a bunch of stuff written on like a blackboard. So it was like an academic office. And then all of a sudden, I saw just a sky full of clouds. And the clouds were numbered, but not with numbers, but with symbols. And it was like they weren't numbered with numbers because there were too many of them to be numbered. It was very bizarre. And then all of a sudden, it's like I went inside one of these clouds, and inside each cloud, it appeared like there were numbers inside there, which were also not numbered, but labeled with symbols because there were too many to number. And then I was drawn back out and I was back at the office with the two people. And it was like they were like eureka, eureka, eureka kind of a moment. And it felt like it had something to do with quantum computing and like a new type of math. It was very bizarre. It was very interesting. So let's ask that question to start with, and then we'll get to the inauguration and the drones. So, will there be advancements in cybersecurity in the near future? Let's say in the next 2 to 3 years. Will there be advancements in cybersecurity in the next 2 or 3 years? So, and kind of see, like a government office and people working hard to protect data and worried about the introduction of quantum computing. Will there be? So I think there needs to be advancements as quantum computing comes out, the standard encryption that's been being used, and of course it's changes all the time, but um, I don't think it's going to be sufficient anymore. So let's see what the cards say. So yeah, we get a new start. It's like all of a sudden there's this new way of doing things. It seems very exciting. Um, and the challenge, of course, is overseas influences, waiting for, you know, one ship to come in. Uh, we have an offer being made in the subconscious. Uh, yeah, and anxiety will be in the past. So this worry of our information being readily accessed by hackers, I think it might become a thing of the past. Um, Not right away, 2, 3, 4 years down the line. Yeah, and we get uh, a fiery new way of thinking about it. New leaders, very innovative ways of doing things. Um, and we can step back and we can relax. Um, yeah, and then we get the King of Wands in our subconscious. We feel confident, we feel secure. Uh, We get the Six of Swords is the way we're going to see things. We're getting ready to move out of those troubled waters that we're currently in, where we're, constantly monitoring our credit scores and making sure people aren't opening accounts in our names. And uh, in the hopes and fears, we get the giving and receiving with the Six of Pentacles. I think this is a hope. We're hoping that we can do all these transactions online without worry of, who's collecting our data, where it's going, are the wrong people seeing our data? And yeah, that's pretty cool. So in the outcome we get the sun card, so full illumination. So yeah, very bizarre imagery. I wish I could make a video of what it looked like, but yeah, we get stability and steady leadership and manifesting what we want in the shadow card. So I think so. So and I was going to include that in my 2025 predictions, but it was just such a cool image that I thought let's talk about that now. Okay, so moving on to more political things. What are these drones about? You know, I've had a few kind of hits, trying to decide what deck I want to use. Had a few kind of hits on what I think they're about. I'm not 100% confident in that. It's clearly a surveillance thing. And the question is, what are they surveilling? Or is it a distraction? And, could be one of these things that keep us busy until the inauguration, too. Um, but I don't think it's that either. I think it's surveillance, not necessarily in a bad way, not in a way that I think we should be alarmed. But can you, can we see? Let's see. What are these drones doing on the East Coast? What are the drones doing on the East Coast? I think they're looking for something, and it might be like traces of a specific type of radiation. Not necessarily is that something that's harmful. Um, that's kind of what I get. Let's just see what I can get from the cards. What are the drones doing on the East Coast? The government says that they're not foreign, you know. I don't I think they're not from another country, I think is probably accurate. Um, what are these drones doing on the East Coast? Yeah, I get the image like it's a scientific research of some sort. Like they're looking at, you know, for trace elements of something either in the air or the soil or, coming up from the water vapor from the ocean. I'm not quite, I don't know. Let's see what the cards say. So we get the Hermit card. So trying to shed a light onto something, trying to reveal something that we don't know. We get the Queen of Pentacles as the challenge. We thought of several different ways, but the challenge for us finding out what they're revealing is, I think, the government. Um, in the subconscious, we get the Nine of Pentacles. So there's a lot of worry about money inside the government in relationship to this. Uh, in the past, we get the president or the emperor or control. Uh, Government no longer has control of the situation. So whatever it is it might come to light. Um, in the sky, we get heavy burdens with the Ten of Wands. Um, so I think this is something that the government would prefer as a secret, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep it. In the near future, things are going to start moving fast. Maybe we'll find out pretty quick. Um, then again, what's quick in tarot isn't necessarily what's quick in our lives. Ooh, it's interesting. We get the Empress, and this is, my card for Russia. You know, I don't sense that that's what that's about, though. I mean, the Empress is the mother. She's depicted often as being pregnant in some tarot decks. Are they looking for something that's affecting the birth rate? I mean, I don't want to be too paranoid or instill too much fear, but um, hmm, that kind of fits with what I was thinking. And the way everyone is seeing this is they're seeing it as illusion and delusion, um, and they're not being pragmatic about the approach to how we should be viewing this. Are they UFOs? I don't know. I guess they could be. Um, but I think what they're looking into is something very practical. Does it have to deal with, declining birth rates, and shedding a light on what exactly is causing those? I mean, you can read lots of medical studies, like sperm counts have been going down for the last couple decades. Why is that? That kind of stuff. Um, yeah, and the hopes and fears, maybe that does make some sense. In the hopes and fears, we get the Ten of Cups. This is celebrations, families coming together. Um, hmm, interesting. And the outcome, uh, we're gonna have to make a choice. Uh, let's pull a few clarifiers. Um, and the choice is either going to be like choosing stability. We have hard work, the apprentice card, something we're doing, maybe as, as a species, we're not going to be able to do anymore if we want to keep this intact. Um, and this is a way of sounding the alarm. So it'll be interesting to find out who's behind these things. But I think there's reasons to hope. So in the shadow, we get the Ten of Swords. This is complete and utter downfall is one way to read this card. The other way to read this card is that it's an end of a very dark cycle. So maybe it's actually literally the end of being in the dark about uh, some of these things. So, that makes sense. We get strength, and yeah, again, so this is the Four of Swords. This is, ill health. Um, I think it's related to ill health, possibly the birth rate. Um, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. It'll be. I think it'll come to light soon, but of course, soon might not be fast, if that makes sense. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to read on was the inauguration. I had maybe we'll use this is the Light Seers Tarot. I think maybe we'll use this deck. Um, had a vision of the inauguration. And if you look back at some inaugural footage in the past, like when Obama was inaugurated, the National Mall was completely full. And in 2016, it was not. And you could see the white tarps that they put down to protect, stuff and also probably to make it easier to clean up trash because, crowds are messy. And I just got like the sea of white tarps. Like there really wasn't anybody there. Um, Yet I could hear uh I think Trump, I mean, I think at this point it's either Trump or Vance. If Trump's health fails, it'll be Vance. But um voice still talking and there was nobody there. And then but I really think it's Trump and that pains me to say that, but um I also got this feeling that there was a lot of stuttering and stammering over words in a way that made it, seem like he was in ill health and, you know, kind of almost, uh, if this was somebody you really cared about in a very concerning way, like, is this person having a stroke? Um, that was the feeling I was getting, but sometimes when we're close to things, it's hard to see clear. But let's see, what can you tell us about? This phrase is slightly different. What do we need to know about Inauguration Day, January 20th, about noon in Washington, D.C.? What do we need to know? What can you show us about the inauguration? What can you show us about the us about the yeah. I can see Biden sitting there. Feels like there's not going to be many Democrats behind. The only one I see is Biden. Can you tell us? Well, it's a heck of a way to start. Uh, so the foundation of the reading is going to be justice. Huh. Uh, the challenge is things moving too quickly. So I think deep down, everybody knows that there was interference in the election. I don't think things are going to move fast enough that that's going to prevent, Trump from becoming president, unfortunately. Um, but I mean, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Um, yeah. Huh. We get judgment in the subconscious. It's like everybody's sitting there watching their TV, like realizing this huge mistake that has happened, either in, with the interference or the huge mistake just being like, I can't believe I voted for this person. Um, because of the way his cadence and his speech is so ill sounding. Um, like the slurring, words not coming out correctly. Um, it's a lot of major arcanas. We get temperance, but that's in the past. So I think people are finally waking up to the fear that most of us that probably are part of the community of this channel have felt from the, 2016, 2015, whenever he first came down the escalator, that this person's very radical and um that the moderation, it's in the past. Things might go off on the guardrails. Um, Stability in the sky and the near future choices. That's interesting. Uh, at a crossroads in the near future. Uh, we get the world card, which is an end of a cycle. We get a fiery message, is the way that the electorate or the world will see this inaugural speech. They'll see it as a fiery message. I don't think it's a big guess here that it'll be one of hate. I think that's probably a fair assumption. Um, the hopes and fears is that we're not blinded by it, that we actually feel um, you know, sometimes words don't convey the description that they're describing. And this is a pretty crude example, but I think it's kind of it's what popped into my head, so we'll just say it. You know, if if you say I was sexually assaulted to someone, they don't feel that viscerally as the person who is saying it. They might hear it and let it slide because we've been so, not slide as in like they're, inhumane and unempathetic, but like not fully grasp the gravity of what's being said. So I think the fear is that we're so blinded that we're not going to hear how chaotic this speech actually is, how hate-filled it is, and also how ill the person who's giving it is. I think that's the fear. Yeah. And the outcome is a wounded warrior. I think this really damages Trump. I think his inaugural address is almost, rather than a beginning, it's an end for him. And I posted a video about his health. Could be right, could be wrong. Um, yeah, we get a fiery new start, like a shocking new start, something we weren't seeing. And I don't think this is Kamala becoming president, so I wish it were. But it has to do with the government because we get the Hierophant. So I just kind of feel like he's not president for very long, whether that be because of, health and he steps down, whether it be he's removed uh, in various ways. He could be removed by 25th Amendment, impeachment. I mean, those seem kind of far-fetched. Republicans don't seem to have a backbone. Um, Although, like I said in the reading about his health, the Republican Party is going to realize they no longer need him. Not the MAGA part of the Republican Party, but the Republican part of the Republican Party, which isn't many. But we have to realize, the majority in the House is going to be down to like one seat, probably by the time of the inauguration. And in the Senate, it's only three seats. And usually it takes 60 votes. They certainly don't have 60 senators to do a lot of things. So I don't think things are just going to be rubber stamped the way they had seemed before. But if you take an unjaded look at Trump's presidency in 2016 to 2020, it was very unsuccessful. He accomplished almost nothing, thank goodness. And so I've been trying to hold my hope on that he's just ineffective. But I wonder, you know, how long is he going to be around? It's odd. In the shadows, we get victory with the Six of Wands. Uh, we get a message, and we get things happening quickly, and an end of a very hard cycle with the Ten of Swords. Again, the Ten of Swords coming up with respect to Trump. This came up with in his health reading too. The end of a very dark cycle or complete and utter downfall, however you want to think about that. Um, so I think stay tuned. I think it's going to be a crazy, wild few months. Uh, Please like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I really appreciate that, and keep commenting. Um, Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.